it's a bad feeling, completely bad feeling, knowing that, we were in control, being in control of our destiny last 2 weeks, and we just couldn't get it done. And it's definitely left a bad taste in my mouth, a lot of guys' mouth. Not where we want to be, not what we expected either. We expected to finish stronger than we did, and we didn't get it done. It's a bad feeling.
Yes, it is, Carson.
I mean, listen, as shocking as today's developments down in Miami were, I would say the shocker from Sunday was the Colts choking away their shot at the playoffs and opening the door for the fun Sunday night by losing. Maybe it shouldn't be that shocking. I mean, that's what they do. They lose in Jacksonville. They lost 7 straight in Jacksonville. The rest of the league goes on vacation when they play Jacksonville in Jacksonville. The Colts can't seem to win in Jacksonville. And let's welcome in friend of the show and former NFL cornerback Darius Butler, co-host of the Man-to-Man pod, and also co-host of everything, or founder, a creator of Everything DB. You see the nice hat he got on.
Yes,
Darius,
sir.
listen, a lot of people were shocked by what happened yesterday. I get the sense you weren't, because you were going after Carson Wentz. You were coming for Carson Wentz after the Raiders loss. So what did you see yesterday that tells you that the Colts have a lot of internal evaluation to do this offseason?
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't say I was going after him, but I just wanted to remain, I guess, honest with my evaluation with Carson Wentz. Obviously, me, I'm rooting for the Colts. I wanted him to do great, wanted him to come over and get that fresh start with Frank. But watching, even when they were winning, even when he wasn't turning over the ball, just watching the game tape, it wasn't good. As a defensive player, as a defensive play caller, at this point in the season, you don't fear a quarterback that's going into multiple games, going into the second quarter with, 4 and 5 completions, things like that. Obviously, Earl Ryan, 28, Jonathan Taylor, he had a tremendous year. But Carson just didn't get it done down the stretch. And the whole team really, really flopped, honestly, and laid down these last 2 weeks. Coming off that emotional win in Arizona, they laid a couple eggs against the Raiders, and then down to Jacksonville. Like you said, we historically struggled down there for the last few years at least. And I don't know what it is about it, man. It's kind of like when the Patriots go down to Miami, something funky happens most of the time. And Jacksonville. Yeah. With the clowns in the building, man, it was a sickening. It was a sickening loss, man. It was a bad thing to watch.
It was, man. It was on so many levels. On so many levels, it was problematic. As I mentioned, everybody else in the NFL is 35-15 when playing the Jags in Jacksonville or London. All right, Colts are 0-7 their last 7 trips down there. There were 15.5-point favorites for whatever that's worth.
Come on.
The Jaguars had just gotten the brakes beat off them by the Patriots. The Colts had Jonathan Taylor. Everything was suggesting that, hey, this should be not easy because it's pro football, Darius. You know better than we do. But you just expected more.
Man, that should have been easy, man. That should have been easy. The Patriots just put 50
I'm surprised
on these
you say that. But I'm surprised that you say that because –
Now, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say, because we covered you. We've talked to you. What y'all have trained us to realize that the other team gets paid too. And it's the same Jacksonville team that beat Miami in London, that beat Buffalo, and both those wins, in spite of Urban Meyer, they got pride too. Right. They got mouths to feed. They're trying to put something on film. I'm surprised to hear you say it should have been easy. When the truth of the matter is, we saw it all year, Darius, if never before, especially this season, anybody could beat anybody, let alone the Jaguars over the Colts in Jacksonville. But you still say the Colts should have won that one.
It should have been. They should have won. They were favored by 15.5 points. That was probably, I think, the biggest line, maybe outside of the Buffalo Jets game of the weekend. And the reason I said it should have been easy is because the Colts had everything on the line. You obviously took an L at home against the Raiders, and now you're going on the road. Your destiny's in your own hand. All we have to do is beat a 2-win rookie quarterback, interim head coach. They have their bags packed, Airbnbs booked. They know where they're going next week. Everything was on the table for the Colts, man. So that's why I thought, okay, this will be easy. They'll win by 10, maybe 14 points. But and it wasn't like a fluky loss. Like it was like a Like they got
They beat 'em
dominated
down.
on both sides of the line of scrimmage from the first drive pretty much to the last. So it was very, very disappointing. I don't know what it was. People were throwing a lot of excuses around, but in this business, no excuses, no explanations. I'm shocked. And from the top down, everybody should be held accountable. Frank Wright, Chris Ballard, they just signed extensions early this year. But if they hadn't signed this extension, I think Frank, for sure, it would be some long, hard conversations when it came to that, and him being the head coach going forward.
Well, you took me right where I wanted to go. Let's just, for the sake of this conversation, we're in a 3-box. So give me the top 3 reasons, the top 3 people you hold accountable for yesterday. Let's personalize it a little bit. Is it Wentz? Is it Frank? I mean, like, who do you like? 1, 2, 3. Let's hear it.
I mean, you got to start with the head coach. I can't. I skip past the owner. I skip past the GM for this reason. You got 7 Pro Bowlers. So you put together a roster, and then you went out on Christmas Day and beat another playoff team with your backups, pretty much. So I skip past those guys. I got to put it on Frank Wright, not having his guys ready to go out there and play. And then you go to the quarterback. When things aren't going right, you have to be able to elevate your team and drag them to the finish line if you have to, with everything that was on the line. And Carson Wentz obviously didn't do that. And then, all of the other 5-star players, Darius Leonard, Kenny Moore, Quentin Nelson, Jonathan Taylor, like all of those guys, nobody on the outside created separation. So I would just say collectively, those 5-star players, as BA used to call them, Coach Arians, hey, this is a game where our 5-star players need to set the tone, show up, and take us home. And those guys didn't show up.
Meanwhile, probably the most surprising development, and you try not to be surprised in the NFL, as you know, Darius. I mean, life comes at you fast. But seeing Brian Flores get sent packing, for whatever reason, I guess I was surprised when it first happened. I'm like, all right, Stephen Ross got his Michigan guy ready to rock and roll. He just has an affection and an admiration for Jim Harbaugh. Nothing you can do about it. But for it to come down to an apparent rift between head coach and GM after 2 500 seasons, that feels like the type of thing that y'all got to work out, because something's going right for you to have back-to-back winning seasons. Is there another level for y'all to reach? Sure. But it feels like y'all should be able to sort this thing out. And to have the up-and-coming coach go just feels like a step backward for the Dolphins. You're a player in the Dolphins locker room right now. You got back-to-back winning seasons. You turned it around after a 1-7 start. What are you thinking right now when Brian Flores is fired?
I mean, I'm sick right now because obviously that locker room had to come together. You lose 7. They won the first game out of the gate, and you lose 7 in a row. Like, that's the sick feeling in the locker room, to lose like 2 months straight. Every day you're coming to that building, you're dealing with a loss, and that weight is heavy in that building. But for them to turn it around and go 8-1 down the stretch, finishing it off with, I'm sure, an emotional win against the Patriots. I'm sick. I'm sick in that building, especially when it came down to the general manager and the head coach really not being able to figure out their tension. I've been in that situation. We had a situation with Chuck and Grigson, and they couldn't figure things out. And there's a lot of egos in this business. It's a lot of, type A personalities that people got to get on the same page and make it work. But Chris Greer, he's been a part of the Dolphins organization for over 20 years. B-Flow, this was his 3rd year, 3 years, no playoff appearances, pretty much a 500 record. But I think they were trending in the right direction. And it's hard to get that group of men to buy into the head coach and to the leader. And it felt like he had that going. So if I'm in that position where I have to make a decision between the two, and we know how it is in this business, in any business, it's about relationships. And obviously you got a relationship with one guy for over 2 decades, and then another guy, for not even a handful of years, you're probably going to go with that guy. So that's how it went. Unfortunately, that's how it goes in this business. But as a player, as a fan, I'm sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're sick that they couldn't figure it out, because I would say, yeah, relationships matter, but where's my organization? Is my organization going in the right direction? And if it is, you try to have those employees sort out their differences and say, hey, it's something bigger than both of you guys. But anyway, we talk about coaching and some of the changes that have been made in the league. I know you were drafted, I think the year after Gerard Mayo was drafted with the Patriots. You spent some time with him. Are you surprised at all to hear his name mentioned, floated as a head coaching candidate, and to tag on to that, just to speculate, what kind of coach do you think Gerard Mayo would be?
I think he'd be a great coach, and I'm not surprised at all. I actually just retweeted something, it may have been 2 days ago, from Tom Curran up there. I remember being a beat writer for the Patriots when I was there, and he wrote something about Mayo. And I retweeted and said, hey, this guy will be a head coach soon. And then I saw the report come out today that I believe the Broncos asked for permission to speak to him. Just a leader of men. And I remember the 4th and 2 game, which is my rookie year. After that game, Teddy Bruschi, who was in the locker room earlier that year during training camp, then retired, then went in the media. He kind of came after the coach and came after the team and things like that. And Mayo, even as a second-year player, stood up, defended everybody, even going at a legend like Teddy Bruschi. So he's been a leader from day one, and he's been behind the scenes. You know, it's a lot of ambiguous titles over there in New England, and they don't let you know who's really pulling what strings. But Mayo's been a huge part of our preparation when it goes into every game. He knows how to manage guys. And once again, he will have from day one the respect of a locker room. He's that type of guy. Not really, doesn't ride a bunch of ebbs and flows. He's a steady, constant guy. So I think he'll be a great hire, young guy who can have guys going.
All right, man, on the way out, listen, forget the favorites, forget the Packers or the Bucks, or the Chiefs or even the Titans and your man Mike Vrabel. Forget them, man. Who's that team, that maybe squeaked in like the Raiders did last night, or the Niners or the Steelers, or who's that wild card team in either conference that you got your eye on? Either conference. You can pick the Niners if you want, but give me a team that can really go on a run. The Niners?
Yep. That's the one right there. And it's kind of because of how the bracket set up. And at this point in the season, 0-0. It's a tournament. And you just gotta be better for 3 hours. You gotta be better for one game. And the Niners, the way they're built, they're physical. They can run the ball. Jimmy G takes care of the ball for the most part. And they play a physical brand of defense. And what the Cowboys do best is get after the passer and turn teams over. And with San Fran, you set that tone and you're running downhill at those pass rushers. That's a recipe for success, especially if you're taking care of that football. And then if they win that game, most likely they go up to Lambeau, and we know how that matchup looked a couple of years ago in Lambeau with how those teams match up. So I think the road is set, kind of laid out there for the 49ers to go after it. And on the AFC side, the Bengals, man, the Bengals show this quarterback Burrow. He's a gangster, man. He's the truth, and he's accurate. The only thing about it.
Oh, come on, man.
We got a little running thing going on this show.
He take a little too many sacks for me, but outside of that, he's dynamic. Yeah. Joe Mixon is great behind him, and his plethora of weapons at the wide receiver positions, man, they can line up and beat anybody, as you just saw when they beat the Chiefs a couple weeks ago.
No Darius, doubt. All right, Darius Butler, we appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Hold on. Darius, I'm going to let you know, Darius, Mike Smith is going to take your last comment. He's probably going to put it on his resume. You can look on LinkedIn.
No.
On LinkedIn,
you're the only
he's probably going to put it out there. Because we've been going back and forth about the Bengals. It's a long story, but you just made his case for him. So he's like, oh, whatever. Keep talking, Darius.
The Bengals made my case. DB, I tried to told him, okay, like preseason, early in the season. He ain't want to listen. Not in the playoffs, but the Raiders scary. Wouldn't shock me if the Raiders knocked him out, and I got to listen to Michael remind me of 1990.
Yeah, they got a scary pass rush over there.
No doubt. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.